Merrick Garland had come out repeatedly and suggested that David Weiss was in charge. Here is Merrick Garland testifying before Congress, April 2022. Appearing before Congress, assuring them about why they did not need to worry about any DOJ interference or about this investigation being conducted in an independent manner. SOT 13.
Have you been briefed on the Hunter Biden investigation matter yourself, General Garland?
So the Hunter Biden investigation, as I said, even in my own nomination confirmation hearing, is being run by and supervised by the United States Attorney for the District of Delaware.
I'm aware of that, but he reports to you.
He is supervising the investigation, and I'm not at liberty to talk about internal Justice Department deliberations, but he is in charge of that investigation. There will not be interference of any political or improper kind.
How can the American people be confident that his administration is conducting a serious investigation?
Because we put the investigation in the hands of a Trump appointee from the previous administration.
So we're supposed to trust David Weiss, the guy running this, because he's a Trump guy. He was a Trump appointee, and they relied on that many times. Was that true in your view? Was he trustworthy because he was a Trump appointee and was, as Merrick Garland said, quote, in charge of the investigation?
Yeah, look, it's clear that every DOJ employee that's going to answer any questions on this topic is going to immediately invoke this fact that it was a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney. But Megyn, when they put these witnesses in front of Congress, they're going to have to admit that they went to the President Biden-appointed U.S. attorney to look to charge in D.C. in March of 2022, which was 1 month before Attorney General Garland made those particular statements.
And Gary, let me just jump in and make that clear for our audience. Stand by. Because what you're saying is, yes, okay, David Weiss, he was running herd on this, but you needed to bring the charges, you guys thought, and the team agreed, in DC and the Central District of California. And that meant asking other U.S. attorneys outside of Delaware to cooperate in the investigation. Those were Biden appointees. Those are Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys. And you were turned down in both instances, which is something that they've been obfuscating on since you guys came forward. Continue.
Yeah, that's correct. And they're going to have to admit they went to D.C., right, as I said before, and they're going to have to admit that they went to Central District of California to request approval there. So as U.S. Attorney Weiss's stories have changed in his ongoing letters, he's going to say, well, I asked him to partner. But when the key point from DOJ is how you can trust the American people to trust this investigation is that it's being run by a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, and you go to a President Biden-appointed U.S. attorney not once, but twice. I mean, it's just on its face, it's just a clear misrepresentation of the level of authority that he has.
And I want to be clear with that like the reason why they did 2014 and 15 first, almost immediately once they got my prosecution report, is the statute of limitations for those years were set to expire later on that year. So it was important that we went to that U.S. Attorney's office and started to get this rolling because we were running up against that deadline.
Right, exactly. Because we're looking at tax charges for 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, as I said. And you're running up against it on the 14 ones, which were very serious. So, and I want to get to everything that Merrick Garland is saying now and what David Weiss, how he's trying to defend himself. But let's just finish with a couple of the items on how you feel that they interfered. You say that you went to them, that everybody agreed, okay, we're going to charge. We're going to charge in D.C., and everyone wants to do this, and that you then went to this U.S. Attorney, Matthew Graves. He was the attorney by this point for D.C., and he not only said, no, I don't want to partner with you, he also said, and you shouldn't do it either. And basically, this is the president's man trying to kill your case in D.C. And that, Joe, right after that, you stopped talking about D.C. It wasn't like David Weiss said, oh, no, I've got this special attorney designation and Matthew Graves cannot shut us down. I've been assured by Merrick Garland I am in charge We will be bringing these charges in DC because they are the most serious, the ones from 14 and 15. And I'm sorry he doesn't want to partner with us, but he's not making the decisions. That did not happen.
Yeah, so at that point, it kind of went back to, well, this is in David's hands now. That's how it was communicated to us. And now we essentially had to reinvestigate the 2014 and 15 tax years. And then through our reinvestigation, we found the mechanism for the 2014 allegations that we present in our transcript of essentially what happened. So one thing that I want to add on the DC U.S. Attorney's Office is that Gary and I requested multiple times to present on the evidence and the facts in my prosecution report to that U.S. Attorney's Office, and we were denied. And that is not, in cases I've worked, you want the people who know the evidence the best to present to the prosecutors.
He didn't want to hear it. This is Biden's guy who understands very well it's not very good for his career if he indicts Biden's son. This summer, big box retailers are seeking a massive big government handout from Congress paid for by consumers, smaller financial institutions, community banks, and local credit unions. That's according to the Electronics Payment Coalition, a sponsor of today's episode. It's called the Credit Card Competition Act, aka the Big Box Bill. Mega retailers are in favor of it, but the Electronics Payment Coalition is not. They say this big box bill would actually transfer billions from consumers to retailers through eliminating popular credit card rewards programs, weakening cybersecurity protections, and reducing overall access to credit for people who need it most. You can visit stopthebigboxbaitandswitch.com to learn more. That's stopthebigboxbaitandswitch.com. The link is in the description. Learn more, and if you want to help them, tell your legislators to stand up to the retail giants and to support consumers and small businesses. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.